Bitcoin whales are continuing to sell their Bitcoin. What will this mean for the price action of Bitcoin? Guys, welcome to Empire Trading Academy. Hit the like, hit the subscribe if you have not already. Now let's get into this. First, we're looking at technicals. Then we're going to look at very important on-chain data. So first, let's look at the charts, guys. Okay, we're looking at the 4-hour chart right now. You know that we've been continually in this range between 46,000 and 33,000. Okay, not much has changed in the macro sense. Okay. But there's a couple things that I want you to look at and that I want you to make sure that you're aware of, okay? As we're in this trading range, okay, we know that we've established resistance, we've established support, okay? Now, one way that we've been trading this, guys, is very, very common reversal patterns. Okay, and they're a little bit more complex, but they're these distribution patterns, these distribution tops that you know that we've been talking about a lot, and we have been shorting these all throughout this range. Okay, and so if we're looking at the 4-hour chart here, we'll go to the 1 hour really briefly. All right, we had something of a distribution top here. Okay, we had something of a distribution top here. Okay, we had most recently this distribution top forming right here. Okay. Now we're at resistance when these occur. Okay. After an impulse move up. All right. We play this with negative divergence. Okay. And so we have this big negative divergence on the RSI, right? So price action is making higher highs, but RSI is making lower highs. Okay. And so we can use these, and we've been shorting these like crazy. Okay, and we're looking for a possible short on this as well. Now, we haven't been shorting Bitcoin, but we've been shorting altcoins because I like the price action and the structure a little bit better. Okay, it's a little bit more textbook. And so the example that I'm going to show you really briefly is on Sandbox. Okay. And so we took this move here. We had our short here at 329 and change, and we took this, okay, and we sold it at this support level here, okay. Now we're going to be looking to play this again, okay, because we're putting in another lower high. But let's take a look at this. And if you're not familiar with these distribution tops, okay. Wyckoff has both distribution and accumulation. Okay, so distribution is going to be at the top of a move. Accumulation is going to be at the bottom of a move. Okay, and these are basically more complex reversal patterns. Now, what we're looking at here is we want to keep this very, very, okay, make sure you do research on these. They're come up all the time on Bitcoin. Okay. And other cryptos. But to keep this very, very simple, impulse move up to a top establishing a resistance or the top of the trading range. Okay, we have a sell-off, this automatic rally where we go ahead and we establish the bottom of a range. Okay, and then very, very simply, okay, we basically trade back and forth in this trading range. Okay, we put in a higher high, and this is our first sign of weakness where we go ahead and we drop below the trading range. And we just continue to retest the bottom of the trading range, retest the top before we go ahead and sell off and have a breakdown of this trading range. Okay. But what you'll notice is we get to a point where we show this last point of supply and this sign of weakness in this trading range. Okay. Before we break down fully. Now, if we look at Sandbox here, right, we had this move up. Okay, this is our first move. Okay, so this is going to be right here, our preliminary supply here. Okay, and so what we do is we go ahead and we make our first high, and then we establish this trading range. Okay, and then we put in our second high. Okay, so that is our uptrend here. This is our secondary test, and then our bottom of our range. And it's basically exactly what we have here. We have our first sign of weakness on this sell. We put in that slightly higher high, and then we showed this weakness where we're now putting in these lower highs. Okay, still testing the bottom of this range, but now we're putting in lower highs. And it just shows through the price structure of Bitcoin, hey, this move is weakening. And then what I like to do is making sure that this has a negative divergence on the RSI, showing us that even before we get to these lower highs, showing weakness in price action, that we have that the strength of these higher highs here are weakening as well. Okay, and so you just have this overall weakening structure here, right? And so you can short these all day, and we've been very, very successful in these. And during these choppy markets, this has been very, very beneficial for us. Okay, so that's that in a nutshell, guys. We'll go back to Bitcoin really quick. Okay, and you can see that we're basically forming that same exact thing here, establishing a trading range, higher highs, have negative divergence on the RSI, right? These higher highs, now we're putting in lower highs here. Right? So we have these lower highs. This is a higher high, but not nearly as strong as this move. Okay, and then again, we're putting in a lower high here, so this could potentially be an excellent short opportunity. All right, so this is what we're looking, and we're at resistance after an impulse move up. Okay, now what does this mean for the immediate future of Bitcoin? Okay, again, we're testing this level right at 45. You know that we want to see this flip of 46. Okay, and until we see that strength above 46 and a bounce off of this, we will still remain bearish. Okay, we're putting in this higher low here off of this, so that's positive. Okay, but again, until we flip this, that is when we will flip bullish. All right, let's go to the weekly, because you know that we've been watching this very closely. Put back in our trend line here. Okay, you know that we use it as resistance here. Okay, we used it as resistance here, flipped it. Now we used it as support, finally broke through resistance. Then 2 weeks in a row, right? We bounced off of this 46, closed 2 weeks in a row underneath. We saw the retest of this $33 to $34,000 demand zone. Okay, and then this is when we got the bounce. Now remember, these 2 weeks we floated above this line, right, at 45, 40, testing 46. But then close both weeks underneath. Okay, and then that's when we saw further downside. We talked about that. Okay, and so we're going to be very, very cautious here and see where this weekly candle closes. We still have a little bit more than 3 days left, and so we'll see again where this closes. I think the next 2 weeks will be really, really important to see where these close. Okay, and again, if we come down and retest this $33,000 area, we're going to look to see what price action is doing. Are we getting another significant bounce off of that where we're showing the signs of buying off of this level, right? Or is the buying starting to die on another retest of this demand zone? Okay. And so what we have is, if we get that, we're possibly looking at another scenario at this accumulation phase. All right, and so we'll look to see what the price action looks like when we come off of this, when we hit this level and come off of this level. All right, these are the things that we're watching on Bitcoin as far as price action, guys. Okay, now, the way that we started this, we said that whales are selling, and they are. Last time we posted a video a couple days ago, we were here, okay, in this metric, and you'll see that whales have dumped. Okay, and so now they're taking up less of the supply. Okay, and one thing that we're going to be looking for is short-term holders picking up this supply, right? Because we know that short-term holders are going to be the ones carrying this ultimately euphoric phase into the bull run, right? But these guys are dumping, and so they're dumping into strength. All right, not a good sign that these guys are dumping, right? We're at resistance. We're seeing distribution tops form. Economic outlook not looking very good, right? Everybody's weary. No one's going to be super excited to go long, right, on a risk on asset. And so, yeah, so this metric is completely diving now again, guys. All right, back down to these similar levels that we saw in August of last year. And so obviously we're going to continue to watch this. If we continue to see selling off here at the top of this trading range, that would definitely be bad. Okay, and that'll take all the wind out of any sort of this bullish sentiment. All right, we'll watch that. So lastly, guys, if we're looking at the short-term holder, are they picking that supply up? And the answer is really no. Okay, they've picked this up, they've increased they're taking over the supply just a little bit, but not nearly in the way, even if we were going to push this up to say retest the high, we would want to see these guys come in. Okay, but they're not taking that over. They're not taking that over. Whales are selling. Okay, and so as far as on chain looks, it's not looking too good for the bulls. All right, but we'll continue to keep you up to date on these guys. Please go check out our website, giving you all the best tools to be able to trade these markets. Okay, let us know if you have any questions at all, and we'll see you in the next video.